Right. Now let me find it. The video, so I can share it quick. We live, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just so you know.
Hello.
Well, I get the notification.
You did?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Got that Facebook thing. I'm down a bit.
Share this to me.
All right.
Okay, Greg. Yeah. Just get me on.
Yeah, man. They need you to. Yeah. Speaking that thing. We got a mic check. I know. Okay, am I reading good? Mic check, Shelly.
Good.
Yeah.
Aw.
Jay.
Houseway.
Boy, you and your Kanye. Anyhow, let me look. Let me find this
Did
video.
you watch I Am a God?
I have no idea what that is.
It's a documentary on Kanye West and his music and his development.
No, I did not waste my time with that.
30 minutes, Greg. Give
That's
it a shot.
That's 30 minutes too long. I could be doing something productive with my life
Oh, God.
rather than watching Kanye West. All right, here we are. Let me share. Y'all share the video?
Yes, I did.
All right. My page. We're live. About.
Everybody in their phones.
I know.
It's like,
Remember when we didn't have phones?
when
Or
was
you
that?
were too young.
When
You're
was
so
that?
much younger than me.
I remember having to go in the hallway with a long extension cord and
Did
having
you?
to
Yeah,
talk for
talk?
hours thing, and then
You remember the what you call that
no,
phone with the rotating thing?
no, I
Yeah.
think I remember it when it was broken, and I used it as a plaything, but never.
You never use it?
No, never.
Boy,
really
look here, by my Grammy in the
practical.
Grove. That's the only phone you had, boy. You had to spin that thing, put your finger in the number and spin it.
That must have been annoying when you dial the wrong number, though. Like you got like to the 6th number, and it's like, oh, it's
No,
supposed to
you
be
had to
9.
remember the number and then you. Oh, what's the last
Do you
digit?
remember any numbers now?
Nope.
Yeah.
I think I remember
Some
one
of
or
them-
two.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you had like 10 to 12 numbers programmed in your head.
Yeah. Well, the numbers back then, we didn't have as many numbers to remember either. You don't remember the phone numbers weren't as many digits as they are now.
Really?
All right,
Yes.
I
cool.
thought they were only always 7.
No, they were 5.
It was what?
It was 5 when I was growing up. 5 digits.
Wow.
What?
Yes. All phone numbers in the Bahamas were 5 digits.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's news to me.
I'm old.
Yeah, that's news to me, buddy.
Yeah, 5 digits.
All right. Let me get
If
it.
y'all
up.
people remember that.
Wow.
That's interesting. I learned something new today.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You
That's
did
all it's
not
all
know
about.
that?
No, I did
No,
not.
I,
The same numbers that your mommy probably has now that says 32 something, that number after the 32 used to be the 5-digit number to call people.
wow.
Oh.
Then they changed it to 7-digit and added
The
3
32
2
or
and
3
then-
5.
Yeah, that was way after. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. News to me. All right. You all ready? You all ready?
No.
Why you all scared, man?
No one's scared, wait. No
Boogie
one's
man
scared.
it. Anyhow.
Let's do it. We
All
here
right.
anyway.
All right, welcome back Under the Rug. And I am proud of myself today because I set a schedule. You know, this show used to be all over time. Remember, Jay, I used to hit you all up and come by your house and things sometimes when we first started. But I have now set a time, and the time for Under the Rug is on Thursdays. So Thursdays, I need all of y'all to tune in. It's going to be between 5, 6-ish. I was aiming for 5, but, you know, I love Dr. Michelle. And I wanted her to be a part of the conversation, and she, you know, the earliest she could come was at 6:50, and so we had to make the accommodation because
I
we love
appreciate that.
we love
Nothing
Shelly
wrong
here.
with that.
Yes,
Appreciate
this
that.
is home. So I really wanted you to be a part of this because you deal with, you know, the psychological aspect of it. So, you know, I want experts to, you know, and not just me running on with my opinion. I like to have experts on certain conversations. You understand?
Okay.
So that's why it was so important to have Dr. Michelle Major here to take part in this discussion.
Why
And
am
of
I
course, Jay, you you tend to be devil's advocate in a lot of situations, and I think you kind of wrestling with certain positions on this topic as well as other topics. So I thought it would have been interesting to have you in on this discussion as well.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about something that I feel very passionately about.
Oh God.
Anybody that knows me knows this. And it is the indoctrination of children in our school system in the Bahamas, just indoctrinating them with Christianity and religious dogma. And anybody that knows me knows that I hate it. Can't stand it. Think it's inappropriate. I know that it's unconstitutional and it shouldn't be taking place. Now,
It's unconstitutional.
yes, it is.
I see you have the Constitution there.
And I got and thank you so much for noticing, Michelle. I appreciate that. And I just want to put in a plug. This here is the People's Constitution. What it is a layman's interpretation of the Constitution of the Bahamas. It was written by Keisha Ellis. Well, not written, but it was put together by Keisha Ellis. She basically took the Constitution, took out all of the extra words and all that language that you wouldn't understand.
The
all
legal
that,
jargon.
Yeah, all the legal jargon, all the confusing words.
The weed.
Yes, and all the nonsense. And she just removed all of that extra stuff and put it in terms that people like me and you,
Right.
Jay, from the street could understand, because we know doctor. She's a doctor.
too.
She's smart. You know what I mean? People like you and I, we could
understand.
understand this Constitution. You see how small this is? Look at this. You wouldn't think the Constitution would be in this little book,
You
right?
could read that from cover to cover in
Exactly.
No
an
time.
hour.
And people know I don't like to read like that. So this worked perfectly for me. So I encourage you all. I have called this now my new Bible. People, when I do that on Chrissy Show, the people was coming for me. Oh, it's only one Bible. Don't you dare call it.
Really?
That's my flipping Bible.
I think everybody should have a copy of that.
Yes, and I
But
do too, which is why I'll promote it at every opportunity that I get, because these are your rights, your constitutional rights, and everyone should know them. And I think that's why people get away with murder in this town, why people get harassed when they shouldn't be, because they don't know their rights.
Yeah.
So how can I get a copy of that?
Please
You gotta tell
contact Keisha Ellis. I don't have her numbers right now, I ain't gonna lie. But what you could do is look for her on Facebook. I think her name on Facebook is Keisha X. So it wouldn't be Keisha Ellis. Search for Keisha X and hit her up, contact her. You could WhatsApp her, get your copy. She'll deliver it to you. Everyone should have one of these.
Yeah.
Everybody should have one of these. So make sure I go get it. Yes, it is unconstitutional, Jay.
Tell
It
me
is
more about
unconstitutional
it.
because you have the right to practice your religion. Freedom, with freedom. You should not be forced. No one can force you to do anything that you don't subscribe to or believe in. No one can force you to do it. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me,
I
we
believe
could go
you, Greg.
in
I
the
believe
book-
you, Greg.
in
I'm
the
looking
book-
at the application. I'm
No.
looking at the application. We're talking about kids.
And you know how I like how she break it down? Look at it. It got the chapters right, and it says right here, freedom of religion.
Okay.
You see right there? That's page 18. Let's go to page 18. Let's see what it says.
Sound like I'm in a Bible class. That's how I feel right now. I feel
Right.
like in a Bible
Also, you
class.
should be
Bible
used then.
study. Go ahead.
You should be used.
Come on.
Because you know how we like Bible study in this country.
Let's go. Come
Even
on.
though the people is only read you what they want you to read.
Oh, God.
They don't give you the whole Bible.
Page 18.
But
Greg.
anyhow, page 18. Freedom of religion says, unless a person gives up this right, everyone has the freedom of religion. This includes freedom of religion and freedom to change religious beliefs. Freedom to change your religious beliefs, if you
Okay.
so please.
Okay.
Freedom to worship, teach, and practice his or her religion in private and public, alone and in a group. No one can be forced to receive religious instruction or attend any religious ceremony while attending class or school. Did she write this for me? Let me read that again. What? Let me read that again. No one can be forced to receive religious instruction or attend any religious ceremony while attending class or school. However, if the person is under 18, a parent or guardian can decide this for them. Religious bodies can provide religious teachings in schools, even if they receive government funding for education. So, again, and it says right under, no one can be forced to take any oath that opposes his or her beliefs or religion. All right? So,
Okay.
Does that surprise you?
No,
he
it
looks,
doesn't.
he looks surprised.
It doesn't surprise me. I did not know it was in the Constitution. Though.
It's your that's why I said it's unconstitutional for someone to force you to partake in any religious practices.
So which one has more merit? The Constitution of the Bahamas or this idea that we're a Christian nation and everything
the
revolves around God?
Constitution
Well,
supersedes all.
I think that's the question of, like how they say separation of country, state and
Church.
and church, right?
Right.
I mean, we do not have a separation,
No.
right?
Clearly.
I mean,
Look at the last referendum on gender equality. There is no separation.
Yeah.
No, but there should be. But you know what happens? A lot of people don't feel like there should be. You actually have people campaigning in the upcoming election that feels like the Constitution and all laws should follow come straight out of the Bible. So they basically want a theocracy. You have people that are actually campaigning for that. So there are many people that don't believe that there should be a separation between church and state because they have been indoctrinated and brainwashed with their religious beliefs. And that's how I feel. I mean, you could disagree, agree. I don't know if you do. What do you feel, Michelle? Do you feel like they have been brainwashed like I do?
when I turn off my phone every night at 8 o'clock. So when I woke up this morning and I saw your text and you said, "Come on my show. This is what I want to talk about." I said, "Boy, I don't know how a psychologist has anything to do with this except maybe Greg needs therapy today online." And so I'll come in and support him as a psychologist.
Right.
Because the reality is that in my field, psychology and religion do not mix. They don't intertwine research-wise, otherwise in many ways, except to say, how does religion help people? Okay, so when you look at research, there's a lot of research that supports religious beliefs assisting people in their lives, whether
in a piece. I'm guessing.
Yes and no. So there's the body of literature that says, having faith and believing in God allows one to feel more in control of their lives because there's someone else controlling, what's happening to them. And so when they go through something painful like a death, having that belief allows them to have more control in times that are very traumatic. There's research that supports that religion does help. There's reports that say religion helps people to be more faithful in marriages. There's I'm just saying what the research is out there. Research to say that people can come out of dark times because of religion. They're going the wrong way, and religion helps them to come out of it. There's research that says that those who believe in a forgiving God act differently than those who believe in a God to be fearful. So there's lots of aspects out there, in the sense that if I was brought up, we all believe in God, and I was brought up to fear God versus a forgiving God, my behaviors might be different as a result of that. So there's a lot out there in the sense of how it impacts, especially during hard times, etc. But we're here to talk about why in the schools. We're here to talk. Yes. And what I want to ask first is,
go ahead.
Tell me why this is such an important topic to you.
I can tell you why right now, and I can talk with business. Oh God! Like I told Jado was the other night, right? Every day, every single day, my 4-year-old daughter wants to argue with me and convince me that God is real and that I am wrong for not believing so. 4 years old, right? And every day is this thing. Every day, like when we sitting in the car, she'll just come out the blue. So, Daddy, if God ain't real, right? Who make this change? She would just come up with these questions, and then I would answer her. You understand? As the way I would answer any adult that has these questions, right? So it's upsetting to me that they are forcing their beliefs onto my child in a setting where I feel it's supposed to be. I send her there to learn how to read.
But let me ask you something. How if she's asking you questions about it, how is it forcing her to believe? Like if she's challenging and asking for another opinion, that is a good thing.
No. But see, you assuming that she's asking for another opinion. No. She is coming from a place of you wrong and you need to believe this because you're wrong.
She's chastising
She's chastising me. And she even said that, Daddy, you are not being honest. I was like, what? Who tell you this nonsense? Like, I am being chastised by a 4-year-old. So this is where I have a problem, because what that says to me is they are teaching her this in a way that, listen, this is what it is. This is the truth. This is the absolute truth. And anybody else that doesn't believe this is wrong. And I do not appreciate that.
And do you know that they're teaching it that way? Have you talked to them? Have you approached them and say, I do not want my child to be... I am pulling my constitutional right here. Look at the book. And I would like you to not be teaching my child.
I give my child an assignment this morning. Not this morning, last night, when we finished our homework, right? I said, listen, Kelly, when you go to school, don't pray. Don't take part in prayer. You know what she say? But I could get punished. I could get in trouble if I don't pray. So you know what that tells me?
Yeah, they are
forcing them to take part in it. They are forcing them to pray. That is wrong. Now, I ain't saying that. Now, it's your school. If you are a Christian school and you have practices, that's fine. I ain't saying that, oh, no, I don't want no praying in the school. You all need to take God out of the school. No, I ain't saying that. What I'm saying is I have a problem with you forcing children to partake in it, forcing them to believe it, and telling them in a way that is true as opposed to this is our belief. You are saying that this is what it is, and there's nothing outside of this. That's where I have a problem. And it's not just this school. I'm pretty sure they do it in, I would damn near say 99% of schools in this country. This is the way it is. I can't even say taught, because they ain't even teaching nothing. They basically are brainwashing you into their beliefs. And that's where I have the issue.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's two separate issues. I mean, it's one thing if you had gone to the school and say, listen, I would like my daughter not to participate in prayer. If she does not participate, please do not, treat her any differently in any way. This is, my belief, and so I would like you to respect that. And if they did it after that, then I would say, okay, you've got something.
A problem.
We got a problem here. But to say it's a problem and you expecting her to stand up for it, which she's how old?
4.
Okay.
You need to meet Kaylee.
and she's amongst her peers, and the teacher does not know that this is not being oppositional.
She's aware that I don't believe in it.
The teacher is aware.
Yeah.
But you haven't asked her not to have your daughter participate.
Formally. No, I haven't. Okay. I haven't asked her not to. But my thing is, I agree with you, and I get where you're coming from. It would be great to have that conversation up front, say it. But my thing is, I shouldn't have to say, listen, don't punish my child if they don't partake in prayer. You shouldn't be forcing children to partake in these rituals. That's how I feel.
Okay, I understand his point of view, and I understand your point of view. So here's how I would fix the situation.
Oh, Lord.
There has to be the approach, the formal approach, right? Yeah. So the first time Kaylee said that she would get in trouble if she didn't pray, that's when I would step in as a parent to say, you know what? Take it in hand.
Yeah.
So both of you have the right, what's the solution to the problem? It's just when and where. I know you would. We will do as we want to do, and then when the police break down our door, we'll be like, I know that. That's what we do. But when you were informed with this information, you should take it upon yourself and say, listen, I love the school. I like what you all stand for. This is what I practice at home.
Yeah.
I don't want my child to participate in this. Yeah. Can you please respect that?
Yeah.
Hold on one
period.
Jay, I might have the thing. 1 second.
You trying to take my phone?
No, it looked like for some reason my BTC connection don't seem to be percolating properly. So it looked like the video breaking up, I guess.
Yeah, there's video and no audio. Tell Jay to stream it, please.
Yeah, so I guess my thing you have a password for it?
For live?
Yeah, let me pause this. You have a password?
Yeah.
Let me for your hotspot.
Yeah.
I need to put it again.
I'll give it to you right now.
Let me switch to your thing.
We should write.
It wasn't as contentious as I thought it was going to be.
Well, it's only the first 5 minutes.
Okay, look like it's doing better now.
It's alive. That's why.
That better, Shah? Please tell me, Shah, if you're watching, if this stream is better, we just switch it over. So hopefully,
call home.
hopefully we have a better connection with this Wi-Fi.
Well, during our breaking out, we solved all the problems, so they missed out.
I know, right?
Like,
Like this is done.
Done.
No, sir.
You missed
A
out.
wrap.
no, sir.
What's the name of the school?
I ain't gonna call the name.
Oh, God. Whatever school this child goes to, expect
got
a
it.
call from Greg tomorrow morning.
I ain't gonna call the name. But yeah, and I intended to have a discussion with it, right? But let's be real. It's hard to have these kind of discussions.
No, it's not.
With, trust me, with Bahamians, and especially staunch Bahamians who set in their ways and beliefs.
Okay.
But I'll be fair and not just, say that it's going to be a rough discussion or a difficult discussion. I'll have the discussion with them. But I wanted to see what would happen in certain situations first so that I could address those situations directly. You know what I mean? Because sure, I may say these things and then you exclude my child or you make that exception. But what about the other children? You know what I mean? So I'm not just looking out for me and my child. I'm trying to look out for everyone. And I don't feel you should be.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Right? In this situation, sir, you're the minority.
Yep.
Okay? So
Clearly.
So you have to look out for you and your child because maybe the other kids are Baptist, Catholic, or Lutheran. I'm sorry if I miss out anybody. So they're used to these type of rituals, right? So they don't see anything wrong with it. So for you, you have to look out for you and yours. So I would say have the conversation first. Do not provoke the situation by telling her don't pray, and I hope they don't touch my child. You know
Tell them you will not pray.
So have the conversation first, see what happens, then see what happens, and if they start to which is called isolate her or whatever, or treat her differently, then there's a problem.
Then there's discrimination.
Then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Don't tell her provoke them first, and then so you can have ammunition. Just say, you know what?
But then you know what happened, right? The old school she went to, the issue there was there's spank children, there's beat children.
Oh,
Right? And you know how I feel about that.
yes.
You know how I feel about that.
Right. So we don't be into that.
Yeah.
So
So what did you do?
that's the thing. I had a conversation with her because she came home and told us, oh, they spanked me, and for the stupidest reasons they would spank children, and it piss you off. But anyhow, I called them, had a discussion with them. We noticed just what you described. There was a change in their behavior as it relates to her,
Yeah.
and it wasn't favorable. You know what I mean? So they don't like to give special treatment to certain students.
Oh, so then we're talking about a different topic. Okay. So then what we're talking about is that fear that if I'm of a different religion or different background, that my child will be discriminated against by going to a school in a country or a community that is very Christian based. Okay. And so then that's a different topic because that is not okay to discriminate. I mean, I have several students who are of Jewish descent that are in our school systems here in the Bahamas, and they do struggle. They struggle because lots of their peers actually tease them
Wow.
because they're Jewish and they don't believe in Jesus.
Really? See,
Right?
but that the indoctrination led to that.
So for them, they struggle quite a bit because they are isolated by their peers in that way, and so they feel different. And so when time comes to pray or other occasions, or even just playing on the playground, they are treated differently. So
Right.
on that aspect, there is a component of acceptance and understanding that we as Bahamians in our mindset do need to acknowledge that people have different beliefs, and that if I believe differently, I shouldn't be discriminated against discriminated on any level for that. And in fact, it's important to teach acceptance.
Right.
To teach that there are world religions and that we need to respect those religions in all facets.
But that's where the problem comes in, is they believe that anything outside of their belief is wrong. There's something wrong with that person. There's something wrong with what they believe. They are just wrong. And so that's going to cause them to discriminate because they believe that you are wrong. So they're going to treat you differently.
But that's Christianity on the whole. It's very absolute.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
the problem, and that's why I have a problem with that. And I feel as though it should be, and this is why I put on Facebook the other day. You see, I was looking, I trying to find, you can help me, a doc. I looking for a school that don't deal with religion, man. Tell me my chances of finding one of them in this country,
It's
please.
slim. It's slim.
I say none.
No,
Constitute
I
does not do
would.
anything religious.
I would.
Like, what's
No,
not the
My school.
Our school is not religious. I think even though the faculty may have Christian background, I don't think Windsor is religious. Life of Key isn't religious.
Yeah.
But
St.
someone
Andrews-
points
See,
something out to me.
there's a big difference between when you're saying levels of religion in the classrooms. I mean, there's schools that I've walked into, and on every wall there's
It's
scripture.
Jesus.
Okay, and
There's who?
Jesus.
or
sure that's
Jesus,
him?
yeah. And so, and then there's other schools you wouldn't know until it was a specific event, maybe, or they don't even, they don't even acknowledge it in any outside way. So it does vary here as far as the severity of maybe religious.
And that's the thing. I think
Beliefs. Yeah.
that's what you said is the best you're going to get is the level of religion that's involved in the school. I don't think you're going to find one where is completely missing. I think it's just going to be some that are more they do it.
But
more.
that's going to be anywhere in the world.
But it's so in this country it's like.
But I just want you to
So
know
this is a
that
Christian nation.
But
There's
even
no
on the
frickin' balance.
mildest level, even when we say, "Oh, look at the U.S., they don't do that." You can be in religion, but come on, the kids say the Pledge of Allegiance. It says God in it, right? At school.
You mean in the United States?
In the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah, that's United States.
All the money you touch that it's American says
God
in
we
God we
trust.
trust.
Right.
So God is on everything.
Right.
So you're not going to find.
But again, they have.
What you're saying, you're going to if I went when I was in the Middle East, then people were learning the Quran and Muhammad and their beliefs. I mean, if my son went to school there, I can't very well say, I don't want you to teach my kid this. My job then is to teach my child about the different religions. Now I can say I don't want him to engage in prayer if that's something my son does not want to engage in.
Right.
Okay, because if he wants to, I have no problem with that. If we're in the Middle East and that's something he wants to do. But the reality is how much of this, Greg, is you? Like how much?
What do you mean?
How much is it? You got the psychologist on. No, I
Go ahead.
said this morning.
Go ahead.
Maybe
What do you
Greg
mean?
needs therapy today.
Go ahead. Let's
How
see.
much? Where does it? I understand your beliefs, right? But where does it come from that it's also difficult for you to accept that this is how it is, and I must then teach my daughter at home the way that we think or how to challenge these things,
Oh, no,
rather than to say, "Hey,
See, I think
explain it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you. Okay, that was an assumption, a fair assumption, but an assumption.
Okay.
Because it's not correct.
okay,
What it is I do teach my daughter. Listen to me. I speak to my child. Why y'all think you say you need to meet her? Why you think she's so advanced? Because I speak to my child like she's an adult.
Yeah.
I don't do no little old
Yeah.
baby child talk. I keep it real. I stay honest, and I speak to her like she's an adult.
Yeah.
So I explain to her. I said, listen, this is what they believe. It's not necessarily true. You understand?
but what if
I-
that's what she believes now?
At this point in
At this
her
point,
age-
maybe
in her-
she believes it.
I don't think a child. I don't think children have the mental capacity to grapple with spirituality.
I disagree with that. I'm going to separate spirituality from religion.
Yeah, they're two
first
different
of all,
things, yeah.
But I would disagree with the spirituality part.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I disagree as well. But my thing is,
I absolutely disagree.
my thing is, you say,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh,
to,
yeah.
to what you just asked, right? How do I
Yeah.
know that this is what she believe? My little girl believe Elsa real, Honor
Let us know.
real, Frozen. So children at this age, and this is why they make it a point to get them at this age, Because you can only get
them.
you can only
Sound like
get
a gang
you can
initiation.
only get a human being to believe those stories if you get them from that age. Because at that point they believe whatever you tell them. Whatever it is you tell your child, they believe. She is not at that age where she can formulate her own thoughts based on information provided, evidence, or whatever, and conjure up a belief system as yet. What children believe at this
So
age...
you're not giving her credit that as she grows up and as she has been raised in a household with a father who has taught her to challenge ideas, to question and ask, that at some point in her growing up, she will ask those questions and come to her own determination
I
one
hope
way
so.
or
I hope
the
so.
other.
All I could do is hope so. All I could do is hope so. I could say, oh yeah, she will, but I wouldn't be right.
But in the meantime, you don't want to have that obstacle in her way.
I wanna make sure that I am as honest as I can be with her, and I just have a problem with this being the default program. Automatically, this the chip we uploading in your system. I have a problem with that. Because it leads to, and especially with Christianity, it leads to this society that we have now where there's a lack of accountability.
Why do you feel like Christianity leads to
A lack of
accountability?
Because I could say, Lord, please forgive me for my sins. Oh, okay. And that's it. People actually believe that they could go about, do whatever it is they want, hurt as many people as they want, as long as they get on their knees and ask for forgiveness, it'll be done away with.
So then what you would really be saying is what we should be indoctrinating is a God that one must fear, so that if I do something, I won't be forgiven, and therefore I won't act that way.
No, they're already doing that. See, and it's
But I'm just challenging what you just said.
And I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
They're already doing that.
I'm just here for the comments. I'm just here for the comments.
And they're already doing that. But as you can see, that fear only goes so far, because look at the society we have. If we really had a Christian nation...
But what I'm saying to that is, we have a society, and it ain't because of Christianity. Christianity ain't gonna save them, and Christianity ain't making
Okay,
them.
let me ask you this. What percentage of influence do you think that Christianity has on the society that we currently have?
I think it has a large percentage. I would agree
Okay,
with that.
that's all I'm saying.
But you were talking about the society that
Nothing is going to be
crime.
exclusive. Nothing is going to be exclusive. I think that has an incredible degree of influence on how we operate as a
But
society.
how
and
much
the misinterpretation
of
it.
that Christianity also has a positive effect?
Oh, I'm sure there's some positive as well.
It outweighs the positive outweighs that negative.
The positive outweighs the negative?
I'm just saying. We don't know this? We're talking in assumptions, right? If
Right.
you're talking about science, you're saying, well, it influences. It's like saying, well, you know what? That we know that fire has an influence on our breathing.
Okay, but
we don't know until.
But do you believe that you can anecdotal evidence, right? We're going off of anecdotes right now. And that's based off of our experiences with interacting and speaking with people. Because you mentioned some studies earlier, and those studies sounded very anecdotal to me. Here's why I say that. Because it's only based off of what people tell you about how they feel.
Absolutely.
Right?
But
so it's the same thing.
But when we're having questionnaires and things like that, while you may feel it's anecdotal, it's still scientific in nature, because what you're doing is you're comparing groups. It's still done in a way to say, does this relate to this? Does this correlate with this? Okay, and that is a form of science.
It's
now,
statistical
is it?
data.
It's
a math.
Well, that's just a matter of just putting it on paper.
No, it's still a math. It's still a math.
It's math.
It's still a
What I'm
math.
saying
measurements.
is, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, when I say it's a matter of just putting it on paper, I've had and heard many discussions about these issues from people and why they do certain things or feel a certain way about certain things, right? It's the same thing if we would go to these people and we say, okay, we ask them this questionnaire and we put it on paper. The only difference is we documenting it, right? So it's essentially the same thing, only one is documented. So you could go back to it and say, well, okay, we interviewed this amount of people, and this is what our studies show they said, right? It's the same conversations. It's just that I haven't documented, okay, well, Ray Thompson from Baytown said that, okay, on this issue he feels this way.
I would disagree with it. It doesn't happen. It's the only, because people are in that who also have opposite beliefs or whatever they're testing. They're getting a normative sample to give an idea just, of how people relate or feel about certain things, okay? And so in general, that's why people replicate them and do them over and over again so that we get a very good either qualitative or quantitative analysis of the effects of it. That's how come we know now yoga and meditation help people who are going through cancer. Not because people generally said it. Yes, they were people, but people actually did studies to correlate.
But you know the difference? In that study you have results.
But it's the same results.
What
It's the same
results?
type
Opinions?
of results. It's the same type. No, because people are still rating their feelings, emotions, and their behaviors.
Yeah, but did the cancer go away?
It isn't about the cancer. It's how they felt through the cancer. The yoga didn't heal the cancer. Nobody's saying it healed the cancer.
Okay.
It helped them to cope with it.
Yes, it helped them to cope with
From
it.
an emotional
Yes.
standpoint.
Okay, well, again, I could say, yoga could have put them in a certain frame of mind to where they look at things from a different perspective, thus putting themselves in a more positive frame of mind.
Yeah.
You understand? Yoga may have been that catalyst to do that. But when you're talking about results-based, that's analytics and data. When we have results, we do studies, and this has been shown to remove this and do this. But when you're talking about people just doing studies just based on how they feel, I mean, it's the same thing. It's anecdotal as well. It's just they could be lying. They could be just saying how they felt in this moment. It's just off of feelings. You understand? So while I understand,
So those aren't valid.
I'm not saying that they're not valid. What I'm saying is,
Because then you're saying that diagnoses of depression, anxiety are all non-existent.
No,
because
no, what
those
I'm-
are based on reporting of symptoms of how you feel.
if this boy come to me and tell me how depressed he feels,
I can't do a blood test on that.
but you're talking about something with results. We talking about feelings. If you're just talking about how
anxiety and depression are based on characteristics of things you report that you feel.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If he said that I'm feeling a certain way, I could diagnose this boy depressed.
I am not depressed, by the way. I'm very happy.
You understand? But back to the topic, right?
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
Because you got my sister, indoctrination, question mark.
So
Yes,
just
we're off topic.
My sister, Sam, the doctor in
ask her
Chicago.
what she mean. Tell her to give us some context and ask what she mean by just that.
She's a Seventh-day Adventist Christian.
She's what?
She's a Seventh-day Adventist
What?
Christian.
No, but I
wants
mean,
to know
but
what you mean.
let her comment and don't just put the word in the question mark because we don't know what you're trying to ask or say. We want to answer your questions, your pointed questions. I would love to hear how you all feel about it. So please comment if you have questions. You can actually call 804-5219, 804-5219 if you want to call and contribute. Or if you've been through a similar experience, if you are an atheist like me, who is a rarity in this country, and you have been through this before with your child, or you have had some experience with people forcing religion on your children in school, please call and tell us your story to see if it ain't just me just going through this.
Here's how I feel about this entire thing and indoctrination of Christianity in schools or whatever, right? I feel it doesn't have any place because I don't feel kids should be dealing with that right now. I think we could lay a moral foundation without Christianity.
I agree.
Right? I think it creates more problems than it fixes. I think it creates a clannish and cliquish thing. It's us against them situations because Christianity does not have the best history. And these things, I think, especially when armed with kids, it could be dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think what I have and probably an issue with is that we don't have a foundation in critical thinking.
Yes.
Ways of critical thinking, right? So I rather, whatever you're being taught, to teach a child to question it, research it, understand it. Whatever that may be.
That doesn't sound in Christianity.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. And
But
that's
what
the
I'm
thing.
saying is that I'll give you an example. I mean, I remember. I mean, I grew up. I went to Kingsway before I went to QC, and so Kingsway is very religious based. And I just to be out there, I am very spiritual. So I have a different perspective personally, but I know that as a child, I remember sitting in class and having questions. Not because I was against it, because I was for it. I actually was very spiritual at a young age. I did nothing religious at all. I believed for many reasons that were just about for me. But I had a lot of questions. And I remember a few years ago walking into a classroom here during religion, and a little girl put up her hand when the teacher was teaching about Noah, and she had a lot of questions.
Okay.
So how did the animals not eat each other?
Yes.
How would it be possible that they were the
Yes.
only people on earth, and how did they procreate, have more children? She had a lot of questions.
Right.
And I laughed because that reminded me of me when I
Right.
was younger.
Right.
Okay. And just what happened to me at Kingsway happened to her. The
What's
teacher
that?
had no clue. She looked
Oh,
at
they
that
didn't eat her
child
alive.
and went completely blank and basically kept going because she
Oh,
didn't know.
even try it.
She didn't even address it. She didn't
I don't
even
know if it's
try.
because I was in the classroom, right? Remember, I was observing,
Right.
but she didn't acknowledge it. And the little girl still had questions, and she kept going with the story. And so in that I find, that we have to, in the part of indoctrination, if we have children asking questions, wanting to know, that if we're really teachers of this, shouldn't we want to create the, let's talk about that. Let's do it. Now let me finish my story.
Oh, that's go ahead. Go ahead. I thought
So-
the story was finished. Sorry.
No.
I see why you like.
I apologize. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
So now, growing up in the Bahamas, when I left home, I went away to a Catholic school. Away from home, very hard. Okay, went into my first religion class in this Catholic school, and the nun stood up in front of the classroom and said, "I just want to tell you that all the books in the Old Testament are lies. All the stories."
Oh, really?
Yes.
A Catholic nun?
A Catholic nun
Interesting.
in a habit.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Told the classroom that all those stories in the beginning are made up stories.
Allegories.
Okay? And for the first time in my life, I remember sitting there and going, "Thank you, God. Now I'm ready to listen." I'm ready to listen.
Right.
Because I knew internally this did not
Makes sense.
make sense to
Yes.
me.
And
Not
any
because
right-thinking
that
person
I
would
felt
do.
like I didn't believe in God. Please, I do and had and all that. But what I was being taught just didn't mix with what I felt.
Yes.
So when she said that was the first time I sat back and I was ready to learn. I was ready to learn in a different way now. Okay? Because here was this nun telling me the truth that I knew deep down inside. But everybody, when I was home, told me that I must believe this and not question it. So in that perspective, I understand. I feel like we need to respect the understanding of that. Not necessarily everything in the Bible is something that we take verbatim,
Literal truth.
little truth, and that if we do question that, it doesn't mean we don't believe in God. Okay, for some people, it's okay to question and not be, again, black and white. I don't believe in God. You know what I mean? And so I think that's important. I mean, when we talk about stoning people back in the day for speaking in tongues, we don't have that nowadays. You know why?
Because it's barbaric?
No.
Inhumane?
Do you know anybody who speaks in tongues?
Well, a lot of people that
Well,
speak
hold on now.
Spanish, French.
Hold on now.
Arabic,
What you trying to say?
Japanese,
People don't speak in
Chinese.
tongues? You ain't been to JJ.
No. Speaking in tongues, pretty much.
You ain't been to JJ.
No,
Shut about a Honda?
Stop. Speaking in tongues is when, if you, right now, you have no Mandarin background, right?
No.
So if you just break out in speech in Mandarin, that is speaking in tongues. Anything that could be interpreted.
Yeah,
As a
but there were
actual
people.
human
There were
language,
people
like-
who had mental illness back then, just like they have now. People who were different and misunderstood, who behaved differently, who looked possessed, like but had a seizure, or had cerebral palsy, or had some other stuff. But we did not understand back then, so people treated them differently. They thought it was the devil or different things.
they possess.
So the part is that there is so much you know, that you have to take it for the time it was written, right? And we have to be able to discuss that. I think that's important to discuss that when we're discussing the Bible with our kids.
Yeah, but we ain't. And that's the thing.
But I'm just saying that's that's
what a right thinking, you know, intellectual, fair,
just,
unbiased, yes, all of the other stuff. That's how we think, right? But the reality of the situation is that's not what's happening. What's happening is what you just described is that don't question. Listen, this is what it is. Don't question it. Just go with it. Just know that it's true. And that is the problem. That's what I have a problem with. Stop teaching this as though this is the truth. And discouraging people from questioning it. And like I told my daughter, I tell her this too. I said, listen, one thing, the strange thing about mankind, right? They don't like to say, I don't know. That teacher in your class knew she didn't know the answer to that question. She could not acknowledge that she didn't know. And so I told her, I said, listen, people can't come to grips that they don't know certain things, so they would rather make things up. You ever been with somebody, they don't know what you say or what happened, but they just make something up so they can have something to say? People don't like to admit that they do not know. And so they make things up. And as I tell her, I say they do not know, because she asks me. She say, well, where, you know, the sky, where these trees, where these things come from, right? I say, sweetie, I don't know. I have no idea. But I can admit that. You see, the people that are telling you these stories, they will never admit that they don't know. So they will credit it to this deity that they have created.
When you're talking about the Bible. But there are people who feel that they do know God and that God exists for a variety of reasons. I just want to make that clear.
No, but Shelley, I ain't talking about that.
I know. I just want to make it clear for the public. Nobody calls me Shelley, but Greg, I can let him call me Shelley.
Wow.
I don't mean don't know God. I'm talking about when you pose questions like that young girl did in the classroom, and they don't know the answer. They don't say that they don't know. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when they are challenged and they don't have the answer. They don't say that they don't know. And what that says is they have never even considered these questions that are being posed to them. Or if they have, they quickly got rid of it because they were not allowed to challenge or question it. And that's where the problem lies.
The consequences of challenging
exactly.
it.
Right.
Because when I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist faith, I did one first stint when I went to Bahamas Academy, junior high, and then I fell out. And then it was, my neighbors started taking us to church, and it was cool. You know, it was good. I didn't have a bad experience. But when I grew into myself as an adult, I started to ask questions. And that was frowned upon. So much so that I was called a demon.
Oh, right? You too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then I
thought it was just me.
And I went on my way, and I had some hardships in life, and I said, you know what, this doesn't make any sense. And I built my spiritual base from scratch, you know? But you cannot, there's no tolerance, there's no respect, there's no for other ideas, for opinions, or religions. It's either us or there's nothing.
Right.
And if you're not with us, you're against us, and you're going to hell.
And I think that's the crux of it. I mean, the reality is you know, the God I believe in, if somebody doesn't believe or somebody has a different belief, I don't say something's wrong with you. I don't feel that way in that way. I have my beliefs, you have your beliefs, and I need to respect those. And I don't know if I'm 100% right.
No one knows.
Okay, so I know that.
Yeah.
But I have to believe based on what I think, what I feel, what I've gone through in my life, what I've seen. You know, it is based on my construct, okay? And I know that I've made decisions to believe because I've made them, not because somebody told me.
And that's
okay?
the big thing.
And so I respect everybody else.
Right.
I have prayed. I pray all the time. I call them conversations with God, but I pray all the time.
You too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I have also prayed in a mosque. I have prayed in a temple. I have prayed all over the world in different places. I don't separate that, because I am in Jordan and I am in this mosque right now, sitting separated from the men, kneeling on the floor like everybody else, that I cannot be here because we are different in religion. I'm spiritual, so I don't really. But I believe that they believe in a God, I believe in a God. I have every right to be here.
Just remove the labels.
And, and to be here and do my thing.
But you are a mature, tolerant individual.
So what you're saying is everybody in the Bahamas is
No, not
immature,
everybody.
non-tolerant
Not-
individuals.
Not
we have a
everybody.
lot of intolerance.
But we have a lot of bigots.
Yeah.
We have a lot of outright bigots. If you don't believe or subscribe to whatever it is they do, then they are going to insult you. They're going to denigrate you. They're going to say that something is wrong with you. We have many,
Oh, we need to pray for you.
many
Yes,
people
absolutely.
like that.
But that comes with all rigidity. That comes with the rigidity of learning that your color and my color should not mix. That comes with rigidity of old should not be with young. That comes with rigidity.
But it's all stupid.
Of PLP should not be with F&M. Whatever.
Yeah, it's all
I
stupid
mean,
though.
it comes. It is not just religion. It is the rigidity of human people
no,
and
but
affiliation. The need to affiliate with
Right.
something and be part of something and say, I am somebody because I love the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Or, and so if I see you, I don't. But if I see you,
I actually wish
if
it was
I
more
see
like
you,
that.
if I see you in the airport and you have a Miami Dolphins hat and I have a Miami Dolphins hat, but we friends, but you want to go get a drink? But hey, let's talk about the game. So affiliation as human beings plays a huge part, and religion is part of that. If you're part of the Jewish community, man, boom, I see you someplace else and I find out you're Jewish, we're together. I'm a sorority, I'm an a Delta, this, and I see another Delta, we sisters. See, affiliation plays a big part in this.
Yeah, but like Jay said earlier.
No, you don't think so.
Well, no, it ain't that. I agree. Affiliation is a big part. But I actually wish it was more like sports teams. Because we could pick for different teams. We could get off
love
on
the
each other's
same
jokes.
sport.
But we still... No, but the thing is, I don't hate you for your team.
Right.
You see?
Right.
I don't hate you because you're a Dolphin and I's a Patriot.
Some
When the
people
game-
do.
But even if they do, it's probably just within the confines of that game. It doesn't translate into...
You almost ain't been to the games I've been to where people get into fights.
No, but that's like I said, that's within the confines of the game. Outside of that,
But religion, I mean...
religion. See, the thing is, the difference is religion becomes people's identity. It is who they are. So they cannot take that uniform off. They can't take that jersey off in their eyes. This is who I am all the time.
Just the
So
bottom of my
because you
Bible,
ain't,
my-
you ain't wearing this jersey, I always have a problem with you. But with sports, the jersey could come on and off, and we could still
Sure,
go
you
out
could
and hang
switch
out.
teams.
Yeah, and we can hang out. We still can hang out. Use the Dolphins. I can tell you how dead your team is, but we can still hang out.
I get you.
I'm
You
not a
understand?
Dolphins
But that don't
fan.
happen
Yes.
with that don't happen with differing religious beliefs. You don't see people from different religions really hanging and meshing and gelling together
In the Bahamas.
in
Anywhere.
the Bahamas, or not even just the Bahamas. Anywhere. You go try to talk about Christianity in Iraq. See how far that gets you.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
I-
when
I-
Saddam was
so far I get
there,
you.
when Saddam
So-
was there was fine. I just want
I
to
don't.
know.
I have to say I agree with you in the sense that for most places I don't agree that that's the case in all places. I think
Well, they're never going to be all.
I think Europe. I think even some places in the Middle East. Are when I was working in the Middle East, I had half the room was Muslim and half the room was Catholic, and they were mixed together. Some with full burqas, some sitting there with the boobs hanging out. And
Really, where this room was? Let me stop.
so when I say that, I mean dressed in a regular provocative tight shirt and so forth. I mean, I'm just saying that.
See, but I think it sounds like you feel as though I'm saying it's all. I don't subscribe to absolutes. I don't believe in absolutes. It's never going to be all and it's never going to be none. There's always going to be a mix. But what's the degree of that mix? You understand?
Yeah.
There's going to be sometimes.
If I go someplace and I know that they are a Muslim nation, when I'm in the Middle East, and every few hours the whole city starts singing in prayer, the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. Okay, I'm not. Again, we're a Christian society, so there's an acceptance to understand that as a Christian society. Now, saying what does Christianity mean to say that is different.
You're right.
Okay? But if we're saying we're a Christian society, then to have prayer in the schools, to have, Jesus in different places to say God bless, to say these things, to say Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays, you know.
Christmas is pagan.
Okay, but I'm just saying, this is part of being in a country that is Christian. Now, if you're saying being Christian, we're not following what Christianity really is, it's different. But we're a Christian nation, and we have no secret about that.
I wonder,
I don't even think we're a Christian nation.
That's what they say, right?
That's what they say.
But
our practices and but then again, now if you take the Bible in its entirety, see, you have to almost be down bipolar. You have to be a hypocrite in order to subscribe to the Bible because there are a lot of contradictions. But back to what you were saying, right? I think I don't know if you're playing devil's advocate. Okay, you are, because I know. I'm not. I'm challenging you. I'm not. No, but I'm just saying that these are things that. But I already said earlier. I have no issues. I completely understand that our foundation, whenever it was laid on what they say is Christian principles. Christian values. And I don't call it that because all you're doing is you crediting Christianity to human values. You don't need Christianity to have these values, right?
True.
That's my position.
So,
that is true.
But some people do because they can't.
No, this is what they've been taught. That's all. They've been taught that this is what these Christian values. This is where it come from. Those are human values that don't come from Christianity.
Respecting human life and property and people.
You mean to tell me you can't come to that conclusion outside of Christianity?
Duh.
Come on. So we credit that to Christian values, right? I have no issues with that. What my issue is, and it's like you explained, is when you become bigots. When you believe that this is the only way and anybody else, don't have the right or the freedom to practice whatever their belief may be. I agree with you 100%. That's all I've been saying. That's all I've been saying the entire time. I ain't saying, like I said earlier, I'm not saying, listen, I'm offended. You all shouldn't be praying in this school. You all need to take prayer out of the school. No, I'm not saying that. I understand that this is your institution. I chose to send my child to your institution, knowing that it's a Christian institution. However, where my issue lies is when you are forcing it. You are forcing this program into my child and going to the extent of punishing them for not taking part. That's where it's a problem because you are not giving anybody a choice. You are saying do this or else.
Yeah.
This is going to happen to you. And that's where my issue lies, in the punishment. That's where we have a problem, and I don't feel like that's supposed to be taking place, and that's why I say it's unconstitutional. Like I read, you are not allowed to force your rights. I mean, not your rights, your beliefs, your religious beliefs on anybody.
And I think I think most people would agree with you. I mean, even the gentleman who, when he was voting, did not want to swear on the Bible, and that, in that situation, and he came again and he wasn't allowed, and the law said, and it was that he should be able to do that, to attest.
The Constitution,
and so that was somebody sitting there putting their beliefs on him and saying you can't go forward. And I agree with you, that is not okay. You should not be doing that or discriminate against someone based on any factor and treat them differently because they're different from you, whether that's religion, the way they look, who their family are, whatever the case may be. Yeah, so I mean that's absolutely wrong.
And that's simply all I've been saying this entire time. People feel as though I just against Christian. Listen, I love.
Well, I mean, you have to understand. You're coming from the component of you are atheist, right? And so that makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
See, you got to understand the problem. It isn't that what you just said is an issue. I mean, I don't, and so I think the problem is people feel uncomfortable that you're an atheist.
Taboo.
Right? And so you being an atheist, they don't understand that. And when you don't understand something, it makes you feel uncomfortable.
And it makes you defensive.
And makes you defensive. And it makes you feel like that, well, maybe if he just learns a different way, or I tell him something, or he experiences something, he'll change his mind, or something's wrong with you and I don't want to be around you. People don't like differences, especially ones they don't understand.
Right. That's an extreme difference.
It's not really.
No, it is, because if I'm Christian, right, and you're an atheist. You don't believe in anything. It's not like you're
Hold
a
on,
Muslim or you're a Jew or you're
It means like
Catholic.
you don't have any other religion. That's
Hold
what
on
it means.
now. No. Because see, and let me. And I apologize for cutting you off, right?
That's okay.
But it's there.
It's your show.
There are common. No man, I shouldn't be because of that. But there are common, and this is why what she just said. People feel uncomfortable because they already have some kind of preconceived notions
Right.
based on things that are completely incorrect. It's not that atheists don't believe. The simple definition of an atheist is someone that does not believe in God. Simple as that. That doesn't say someone that doesn't believe in anything. But because people think that God is everything, you don't believe in God, you believe in nothing.
Right. Understood. Yeah.
You see? So I just wanted to make that correction because a lot of people continue to make that same mistake and feeling that atheists don't believe in nothing. That is not true. You could go ahead. Sorry, I apologize. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, if you look at the
But
definition
again,
of
now
God-
you've made him uncomfortable because he's like,
no.
what else is out there but God?
No,
What
I
else
mean-
could you believe in?
he could believe
Elves?
extra,
What?
like
You know?
elves,
See,
aliens.
but
I
that's-
tell people I
that's-
believe in love, life, peace, and happiness. That's what I believe in. And some people may call that God. Some people call it things, all kind of other things. But everyone believes in something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a deity. Some
Okay, so
God, spirit.
an atheist
Everybody
is someone that
believes in
doesn't believe in a deity.
something. Doesn't believe in God.
God or a deity, whether it be Allah or
Well, a
Buddha.
deity is a God, eh? Psychologists, that's essentially the same thing, eh? You exchange, but we could Google that.
What people, I mean,
We're in
people
information
call
era.
it all kinds of things.
A deity is basically
a higher
a God.
power,
Just
higher
say a high power.
consciousness.
Just say a higher power.
A higher power. Like people have different definitions of that, because even if you have if you believe in a higher power, deity implies, I may be wrong, but
Something
this is
that
my
people
answer,
worship
that
as
you
a deity.
worship.
Yeah, that's
You
what a
can
deity
believe in
is.
a higher power and not worship it. See, worship.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
you can you
That's
can
true.
believe in a higher power and not
That's true.
be of worship of it.
That's true.
You know, it does not necessarily mean that. Some people talk about a higher consciousness, a different. You know, it does not mean that you worship it.
You
That's-
just acknowledge it.
You
Yeah.
acknowledge it, you respect it, but it does not. It's not part of your everyday life. But you believe that there's a higher power. There's things you know, whatever that means for you.
That's true. Let me read some comments so the people don't think we
Ignoring
checking for
them.
them. Jamal Small said, "Hope you guys upload the show to YouTube so I can listen to it later. This is good stuff." Shah, mother sick. Look at this long thing. Shah, right? Shah said, "I find it frustrating when you attend things like Ministry of Education training programs and there's up to an hour spent praying and singing hymns prior to actually doing anything that people came to do. I have no issues with people praying, but when that's not the purpose of a meeting, it shouldn't take up so much time." I completely agree with Shah because I've been to one tattoo where we had a protest. We protest at the Independence tattoo, and I feel like I was in a big church service outside.
Protested
Yeah, we was protesting, for children's rights and
at the tattoo.
yeah, at the that's what they call the thing for independence, right?
You all protested at the Independence tattoo.
Yes.
When?
Anyhow, that's all I'm talking. We can talk about that later. So yeah, Shah said that's why children. She said that's why, and she put in quotes: "Children should be seen and not heard," and rolls eyes. So she disagrees with that nonsense. Josephine is laughing at Shah. Josephine says she questions everything. She said prayers do not work. Period. And Shah said it can come
Okay.
off from rigid atheists too. I'm not sure what Shah is meaning.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about prayer. Okay, and this is from my spiritual sponge, right? I believe
From your
in a high-
personal
yeah, from me,
experience, yeah.
from me personally, right? Prayer, it for me is like speaking something into existence, right? You put that you want out of the universe and you work toward it. I hate when people like faith without works. Like you just put in all the faith and you don't put in the work. Like so, if you're praying for something, if you pray for that $1 million, you have to put in that work for that $1 million at the same time. You know what I
Rather
mean?
than saying-
So it's not that prayer doesn't work. It's just that you're not doing anything for it to come to fruition.
And that's a lot of people, are lazy because of that as well. They feel as though,
God can take care of everything.
Ask and ye shall receive. So they just keep asking.
And not doing anything.
So I think it leads to, and again, not all, but in a lot of cases, it leads to people
But,
being
yeah, I
complacent
mean,
and contempt too.
But it's again, each person's journey is so different. What I
Yeah.
find amazing is that we can come from all different countries before there was internet communication, and somehow people all over the world somehow had this innate feeling that there was something bigger than them. Somehow that came about. That came about, how?
And I agree with that.
How did that, they didn't have TV back then, and when he was here and the Arawaks was here, and yet, as far as history can go, people
always believed
in something other than them.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. I don't know what you can call it all kinds of names. That part speaks to me on some level. Religion is man-made. It's rules. It's if you're getting turned down, your kid can't get accepted to the Catholic school because you were divorced because somehow that's bad. And that rule-based religion is not necessarily speaking to the fact that there is this conscious level, that there is something more that we feel or are in touch with, whether people call it Mother Nature, whether you call it whatever, that there's something else. And that in history speaks to me on some level, and needs to be acknowledged. The problem is that in feeling that over time, people then develop these things called religion. And now they feel so strong about it that in order to feel it, you must be part of this belief. Otherwise, you can't feel it. Do you see what I'm saying?
We've lost I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Well, we're done with that's over an hour now. That time flies.
Really?
What a flip. Yeah, man.
Wow.
We've been here for an hour, so we can wrap this up. I wanted to get into some more stuff, but we could always.
What more stuff you want to get into, Greg?
Listen, man,
we gave you the
I thought we just
solution.
started.
No, I
Greg,
didn't. Listen,
we gave you the solution.
We believe
Greg.
in love.
I didn't come for a solution.
I think we all agree in love.
Yes.
Yes.
Peace,
Kindness.
understanding.
Acceptance.
Acceptance. I just came
Yes.
to have a discussion about how it's so rampant in this society, the bigotry and discrimination that exists, that I feel stems from this indoctrination of Christianity on people, and the way it was put into people. The way I hate to use the word teach, because they ain't teaching nothing. They're forcing and brainwashing you with this information. That's all they're doing, and I have a problem with that. And I think it's continuing to cause so many issues in this society, like you say, with all the clickiness, and it leads to people discriminating against other people that don't share the same beliefs that they do.
Or as depth.
But
I remember going my first job here, and a woman came to me and she says, "You read the Bible?"
like,
What? That's my first question.
Exactly.
Do you read the Bible? And that's not the first time I was asked that.
right?
And
And you know what I do? No. Now what?
Next.
Now what? But because see what happened is a lot of people tend to cower or just shy away. Let me just not me. I don't care. I can challenge you and I can make you look like a fool too, because I know you ain't coming with no logic.
But my perspective is you could read it, but if you ain't living it, I just don't get it. Like,
But you
who
gotta be
cares if you
careful
read
now.
it?
You got to be careful, because which parts of the Bible you want to
exactly.
live?
But I mean, it's the reality is we define that these words, we must follow to a T, and I think that we have to understand there's a higher understanding and consciousness that needs to happen.
Yeah. I just say, listen, stop being bigots out there, man, people. Listen, I don't have no problem if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you believe that Godzilla created the earth, if you believe that King Kong made the earth, that's on you. What I go by is how you interact with people, how you treat people, how you live your life. That's what I judge people based off
Absolutely.
of. But too many people they are creating this picture of a person simply on their what they subscribe to when it comes to religion. So, or use a this, so I already feel like use this kind of person. And we got to stop doing that. I give people a benefit of the doubt. I wait to see how you treat people and how you live your life, and I make my judgment based off of that. And if you choose to be a Christian, that's on you. I ain't trying to condemn you. And now we do have, and I will say this to be fair, there are some radical atheists as well that attack Christians or anybody that believe in anything. They would just attack them and call them names, and we have that too. All sides have radical individuals,
Extremists.
that make whatever it is
Absolutely.
that group look bad.
Yeah.
So atheists have it as well. So I'm not saying that all atheists are some good people and everybody else who believe in religion is just bad. No. You have good people and bad people in all of the denominations or whatever beliefs
All facets,
they subscribe
all
to. Yes,
factions.
they're in all of them. All I'm saying is just respect other people. Have respect for... We need to... You know what I wish we would subscribe to? Freaking human race. Whatever happened to the human race? Why nobody die hard and fighting up for that? Everybody want to be fighting for their religion. They want to fight for Christianity.
It has been destroyed, bro.
They want to fight for the
It has
blacks.
been what?
It has been destroyed. The human race
Yeah.
is just a label. It's
They
been
don't even
destroyed.
say it. They don't even say it
It's
no more.
Europeans, North Americans, Trump's America,
All
blacks,
these, they
whites,
create all these
Hispanics,
different
Christians,
segments.
Buddhists,
Differences.
Chinese. Yeah.
It's all the
Like,
key
you can't-
people
no.
divided.
Everybody wants to feel special.
It's all the key people divided. That's all.
Pray
it
for
is.
France, pray for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
All the key people divided, and it's working to freaking T. It's working perfectly. Because the things I hear people argue over and about, I'm like,
Why do I look like a Baptist?
what?
Jay don't look like a Baptist to y'all.
Someone say Jada look like Baptist, yo?
Keisha.
She only
I happen to be a former Seventh-day Adventist. Thank you very much.
She only pulling your
Seventh
leg.
Day Adventist.
But yeah, people, if you take anything from this conversation, take this. Listen, everybody, we live in a society with many different people. You gotta exist with them. We gotta exist. Just respect people's beliefs. You don't have to say they're wrong. You don't have to bash them. You don't have to just, if you all disagree, you all disagree. It's as simple as that. But at the end of the day, we still the same human beings that have to coexist within the society. And in order for it to be a peaceful one, we have to respect each other's beliefs, even if we don't agree with it. And that's the only way we can move forward. But honestly, I don't see it heading that direction. But this is my message to y'all people. I hope that y'all would abide by it. Stop forcing your religion on people. If people don't want to partake, leave them be. Let them.
Stop forcing on the kids, though.
Yes, definitely stop forcing it on the kids. But we know why they do that. But stop forcing it on the kids, because now once it's hammered in their head, and you know how repetition goes. You know, as a psychologist, all you gotta do is repeat something. It don't have to be the truth, but you repeat it enough, it becomes that person's
It does,
truth.
yes.
All you gotta do is be repetitive, and they know that. This is why they keep hammering these things home. So I want to thank you all for taking part. I know it's last minute. I was supposed to do another show today, but my guest couldn't make it. They was feeling under the weather. So I appreciate you all for coming at the last hour. That's why I contact you all, because I know you all ain't gonna turn down a good conversation. I appreciate it.
We don't have a life. What are you
I
talking
know,
about?
right? Ooh, let's just